Hey everybody, Tracy Brown here. And I just wanted to share a little bit of a nuance that I see happen in my sessions sometimes that it's kind of hard to know where that edge is for you, but it's super important. Is a lot of times my clients will come to me feeling like anytime they eat something in either a little bit bigger quantity or something like kind of play foodish, like cookies, ice cream, whatever, they assume that it's always emotional. That either I eat a certain way, the right way, or if I'm eating something that's, again, play food, it doesn't have a ton of nutrient density, that it must be emotional eating. Guys, that's not the case. We are wired for pleasure. We're wired to enjoy food. And so the idea that we are not to eat certain kinds of foods, and if we do, it's because we're out of control, isn't accurate. But I know because of diet culture, we're all indoctrinated to believe that there's good food and bad food. So that's diet culture for you. So what I want to talk to you all about today is knowing the difference. So here's one example. Pleasure eating is sometimes, the cookies are hot out of the oven and you're not that hungry, or maybe you're a little bit hungry, or none at all, but your favorite way to eat them is straight out of the oven, hot and a little gooey, and that's really enjoyable, and you just recognize it is for what it is. It's not an out of control, I can't not eat cookies thing. It's that's really great, and it tastes really great. And people say, well, isn't pleasure eating emotional? Yeah, we're eating because it feels good, or it tastes good, or it makes us happy. There's a difference, though, between, this idea of pleasurable eating should be, we need to have pleasurable eating as part of our eating. That way, everything comes off the pedestal of good or badness, and it just becomes some foods we're eating out of practicality, some foods, some meals we really love, and it was just great, and it was pleasurable, and it doesn't always mean that it was a low nutrient dense food. It just means wow, that bento box thing I just ate was so pleasurable. That's great. But that doesn't mean that sometimes we don't eat in a different kind of way and it's less valuable. Now, emotional eating would be where, in my opinion, it's where we might be aware, we might not be aware that something besides physical hunger is kind of driving it. So we might know that we're really sad or we're really lonely, and we're eating and we don't really know how to have the brake on, or it might feel a little out of control whether you overeat or not. So there's a difference between emotional overeating, and you can know that's happening on purpose or not, or we could be bypassing like an 8, let's say, good, solid, I'm full, and go into that 8.5, 9, 10 zone where it's, we're getting a little physically uncomfortable. And either we know we were doing it or not. I would consider that emotional eating. So it can be conscious, unconscious, but if it feels kind of out of control, I would consider that kind of emotional eating, especially if you feel like you have to do it. If there's a have to in it, I would say it would be more considered emotional eating versus pleasure eating, because honestly, there are times I eat to a 9. Creme brulee is one of my favorites, and if it's there, I'm probably going to eat it out of pure pleasure, but it doesn't feel out of control because I know that's one of my favorite desserts and I really like it, and I'm gonna do that. And that's the difference. There's no guilt after it. If there was some guilt, I'm going to a 9 because I really, really want to have it, but I don't think I should be having it. There's some emotional eating there, and there's probably eating out of guilt and rebellion versus, I'm going to get really full and I know that, and it's not because I'm sad or I'm lonely, it's just really good. And maybe you might argue that that's still emotional. It is because it's good, but it's not I'm not trying to cope with something. It's just just pleasure eating, and that's it, and that's normal. Now, again, this video is not about bashing emotional eating. Sometimes that's our best strategy. We do it for survival. We do it because we don't have any other tools at the moment or resources, or our window of tolerances is really small, and that's just all tolerance of emotion or sensation. And that's what we need to do. That's fine. There's no judgment about that. I'm mentioning that because I know most people who see me or who watch some of these videos that I do, they're not wanting to emotionally eat as their number one go-to. They eventually, I think people get to the place where they understand that, like, that's just part of life. That's going to happen sometimes. There's no judgment. But as the number one go-to on a daily or weekly basis, that's something that people that, at least, again, come contact me, don't really want to see as part of their life on a daily basis anymore. So I hope this video cleared up some stuff that, pleasure eating is a part of life, and we all do it, and we probably should do it, because it's like when there's a want for something kind of fun or sweet or salty or savory, whatever it is, that's either as a part of your meal or outside of hunger, and we want to do it anyway, as long as we're really, really connected with, like, how we're doing, what's going on. I don't want you to be afraid that you're out of control. That's just actually normal to want some candy sometimes, or something simple as, like, you get groceries and you get a new flavor of chips or something. I'm putting out play foods, because those are the things that people get most concerned about. They get a new flavor of chips that they've wanted to try. They're not hungry, but they get home, it looks really good, they open up the bag, they eat a little handful, get the flavor of it, hopefully get satisfied and just move on. I mean, there's not a problem with that. It's just being really clear about what's happening. If you feel that it's more than that, that's when you want to investigate, you want to slow down, you want to find your feet, and get curious about what's going on and what your need is. So that's how we handle that. It doesn't have to be a bad, scary thing, just nuance. So I hope this video was helpful, and I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.